Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of SevTech Ages. Today we are hopefully going to advance to the next age here and end off today's episode by landing on the moon. So in order to do that, we do need to start producing our circuit boards, which is something I tried to do last episode, but we kept having our pressure chamber blow up. So that wasn't doing this any favors. In between episodes though, I went ahead and watched a video from Direwolf where he kind of went over the whole thing here, and I think I now have a better handle on the whole thing. So I thought this would give off a redstone signal to the pipe that it's on, which is not the case apparently. So the way that I have it set up right now is I want it to stop on 4. So by doing that, it's going to give a redstone signal of 8. So over on this thing, I think I have it set to 7. Never mind, I went ahead and counted our redstone again, and we have 8 down. So on number 9, we have a repeater that goes into the pipe because having just a redstone line going into it doesn't trigger the bleed-off valve for some reason. So we have to have a repeater here, and it works pretty well at the moment. And then on this side, we have a repeater going into this thing to trigger the compressor to turn off. So that way we're not just burning coal over and over again and just bleeding off all the excess air so it doesn't blow up. So that's how we have it set up right now. It's working for the most part. I also realized that I forgot about the inputs and outputs for our pressure chamber last episode, so that was my bad. I was looking at this thing thinking that we can just drop stuff in there, but that's actually the upgrade terminal, so that was my bad. We have to pipe stuff in through these sides here. We have one on the other side as well to export the items, so that's what we're going to be using. I also moved everything inside like I said, and we finished off the roof as well, so it's not just a janky looking corner piece there, but on the inside here, the only change that I made upstairs is that I added a battery bank. So we have 12 million power storage capacity on the battery bank there, which is kind of nice. We don't have to run the generator all the time. And I also found that we have the elevators, so that's great. I made a little utility floor so that we can come through and place down pipes or wires if we need to, and we don't have it all just visible below us here. And then on the bottom floor here, we have all of our plastic production. We have our creosote over there, and then on the wall, or inside the wall, we have our diesel storage and our naphtha storage. So that is what is going on back here. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's changed around our base for the most part here. All right, so let's go ahead and throw together a PCB real quick, or a blank one, right? Is the thing we're making? Yeah, an empty PCB. So we should have, yep, the iron and the other thing in there, although it came right out. So that's not correct some way. I don't know how to disable that now. Hold on. Well, I accidentally flipped the exporter around, so now we have 2 imports on both sides, and it's keeping the item in there. So if we throw the green plastic back in there, it should make that, but now I don't know how to get it out of there now. That side's completely blocked off. What if we rotate this guy a little bit? Let me remove this guy for 2 seconds. And then if we... That's not what I wanted to do. Uh-oh. Hold on. 1 second. Oh, that's not the right thing. Give me this. Poop. Is that going to spit it out? No, this thing needs to get rotated all the way around. And we can't do that without breaking both sides and then replacing it. So, yeah. Okay. Let's break this and break that. Hopefully we're able to grab that one. Doesn't look like it. Did it go here? It did. Cool. Okay, so if we place it from the inside, like, oh, that's not it. Dang it. Give it. And place it like that. That's, again, not correct. Okay, we're just going to break a whole bunch of things here. Where'd it go? It got picked up by the hopper again? It sure did. Okay, boop. And then we place everything back. This is just wasting so much air. That should work. But now that is going to be open again and automatically yanking things out, even though it's not ready to be yanked out, is the issue. Well, I tried to give the door a redstone signal to see if maybe we can close that side of the door off and it wouldn't automatically pull the material out of it, but I can't seem to do that. So I'm going to try and use the item filter. There's probably a reason why it's there. So if we load up all the stuff that we need for our etching acid, we should be able to tell whether or not this is going to work. So if it piles up in here, great. Oh, there's the eyeball. Okay. Is that because this thing has something? Nope, that doesn't have anything in it. Okay. Why is nothing else going in there? There we go. Okay, the flesh is in there. So everything else should go in slowly but surely. And then how do I put the etching acid as a filtered item here? I can't do that. I think I just got to break the thing again, collect the bucket, and then add it to the filter list, I'm guessing. It would also help if I went ahead and put the 2 green plastic into the thing, right? So we can actually make our etching acid instead of sitting here staring at something that's not going to craft anything like a dum-dum. There we go. Okay. So if we disable the filter for 2 seconds, it should pull the stuff out of there, right? Maybe? There we go. Okay, so we didn't have to actually break the thing just yet. And we can throw our filter back on. Once we do one of these, we can rotate this around and then have it dropping into the box. Gives us our etching acid. We now can't interact with the filter though, so gotta break this again. And then we can add it to the filter list and we should be fine. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Well, now that we have this thing kind of up and running, we can start trying to produce our PCBs. So let's place this guy here. And how do we place our etching acid into this guy? Oh, we actually just place this down in the world and then throw our PCBs into it. Okay, so let me do that over here just in case this thing for some reason messes up again. And hopefully that doesn't despawn. But we take this guy and we plop it in here. And then it's going to give us an etching chance. I think we leave it until it gets to 100%. And then we take it out, we drop it in the liquid. And then maybe we get a usable PCB from this. Okay, finally the PCB is ready to go here. So I also crafted up a couple more of them just so we can continue making them, because it did take a little while for this thing to even get etched all the way or go through that whole process there. So now all we got to do is throw this into the acid and wait 5 minutes. So hopefully that turns into one that we can actually use. While we wait for this stuff to process through again, we can start actually crafting up some other things here. So we need this tablet in order to buy these guys, because you can't apparently craft these normally. So we need to pay the stabilized metal for them. And so to get a tablet up and running, we need platinum, some red plastic. Okay, let me craft that up real quick. Some red. We need 4 of you. And let's see, what else did we need for that thing before we run away from here? We needed 4 for that. We needed 7 of the gray plastic as well. So let's get 7 of those guys put together. We have 6. I do have plastic ready to go, so let me just craft 1 more of them. Alrighty, well, there is our tablet. So now for this thing, we also need to charge it up before we can actually use it. So to do that, we are also going to need a charging station, which is on this page. It's this little red guy right here. So that is also relatively cheap. We have the pipe for that. We do indeed. Cool. Let me throw one of those together here and we can charge this thing up and see how we go about getting any of that stabilized metal stuff. So our tablet is charged a little bit and it looks like our PCB is ready to go. Look at that. Okay, so with this, we then need to make it into a printed circuit board, which needs 3 of the transistors, 3 of the capacitors, and some of these Certus quartz. So we can get this stuff thrown together relatively straightforward because it's just some plastic. So we need a couple of the black pieces and a couple of the cyan pieces, I want to say. Is that what it was? It was indeed. Okay, so let's get those put together as well. I think what I'm going to do is actually move this downstairs because I can just point the hopper into this and fill it up with plastic instead of having to move this barrel over and over again. So that's what I'm going to do here next. But that is all the plastic that we need right now. And I don't know if we're able to move everything in one go here. Hopefully we're able to manage this. All the plastic should be in there. It should move all the redstone next, and then all of the compressed iron as well. All right, well, I have all the stuff ready to go here, so let's craft up our first circuit board. So there's that. Now, with that in our hand, we can check this, and we're able to trade our oil, diesel, some kerosene, or lubricant for the stabilized metal, but this is also the stuff that we can craft from the Steve's Cart stuff. So we could just craft it up instead of trading for it. So to do that, we are going to need the refined hardener, which is obsidian and platinum. Ooh, okay, maybe we don't craft it up then because I don't have a whole lot of platinum. I have like a stack of it right now, and I think I have another 6 or 7 plates already crafted. So we could make a couple pieces of it, but if we do need platinum for anything else, then I have to go looking for it, and it's not very big veins, so I'd rather not use that for this then. I'm just going to go ahead and trade the oil for the metal then. I don't know if that's our best bet, Kerosene is pretty good too for a 2 to 5, but that requires us to refine our oil down even more, or our diesel down even more, and I don't really think that's going to be beneficial to us because then we get gasoline, which I don't think our diesel generator runs on. But we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and try and trade the oil, but to do that, we are going to need to craft one more thing here, and that is going to be a drone. So we already have the printed circuit board. All we need now is 4 of these turbine rotors, which is pretty straightforward, just some gold and redstone and a compressed ingot. So we need 4 of those things for one of these, and then we should be able to trade our oil. Well, I just realized I made a little bit of a mistake here. So on the export bus, I went ahead and changed the redstone signal to low and disabled the filter. So every time we have something get crafted, I just flip the switch. It automatically pulls the finished product out. So that way I don't have to keep breaking this thing over and over again to add items to the filter list. So that is how we are producing stuff now. It's working out pretty well. Okay, well, hopefully this is indeed how you go about doing this, because I'm not exactly sure, but we need to place this down onto the charging station that we have already made. Oh, that's not it. Okay, oops. That's not it again. No, how do I get you back in my inventory now? Okay, I'm pretty glad that didn't just break it. It gave us right back into our inventory. Cool. So can we plop it in there? Great. This should start charging, which it is indeed. We can also add upgrades to it. It tells us that we need to add the programming in a programmer, but I'm kind of hoping that we don't have to do that because I don't really want to go down a whole crazy list of stuff in this mod. Well, only one way to find out if we do actually have to go ahead and make the programmer. So we right-click on the tank. That is where our drone should be pulling from. And so we could trade for this, although that's still grayed out. And so I think we might have to do the programmer. Oh, okay. Well, the recipe for it is pretty straightforward. I need some more of those blades real quick. Let me go grab some gold, and then we can see if we need that thing put together for this thing to actually work. Or actually, maybe it's because this is still in the charging bay. Hold on. Let me see if by placing this down, the blades turned on. Okay, that's good. And can I have you trade for oil? No. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me right-click this again now that it's out. And maybe it flies over here. It's not moving. Okay, let me craft up the programmer and see if that's what we need. So let's go ahead and see if this programmer needs some air as well. It doesn't look like it does. Okay, so for right now, we'll just leave it there. Why not? And if we plop our drone in there, we are going to have to craft up a whole bunch of these things too. Oh, no. Okay. I just want you to import-export, man. That's all I want you to do. Well, before I actually start diving into trying to program this thing, I'm kind of wondering if maybe our tank didn't have enough oil in it for us to trade with, because to do this, we need to craft up each one of these, it looks like, and those all require printed circuit boards, and that's going to be very expensive. And I don't know what exactly we should have set. There is 7 pages of this thing. There's imports, there's exports, there's all sides, there's entity stuff. So I'm probably going to have to look up how to actually program this to trade for the oil, because that's pretty much all I need this to do. If I can avoid having to do any of this right now because we didn't have the oil in the tank, then that would be really great. But let's take our drone. And now that we have a little bit of air in it, can we plop this down over here and then have it pull from there? Nope. Okay. Yep, I'm guessing we do have to do the automation. So let me go try and find a tutorial on this aspect of this mod, because this is something I am super duper not familiar with. Alrighty, well, I have just spent the last 20 minutes scrolling through some Let's Plays trying to find anybody who shows how this thing works, and apparently all we had to do was link it to a chest. That was my bad. So now we should be able to order, and I don't think we even needed this drone. So that could have just been a waste of resources right now. Unless there's something cool we can do with it. We can set it up to kill mobs and stuff, so we'll eventually probably do something with it. But let's go ahead and order some of this. And there's a 1 there. So eventually, maybe, something comes and delivers it. If not, then we do need the drone after all. I'm not exactly sure here still. Oh, you know what? It would help if I actually clicked on the place order button, dum-dum. Okay, so Let's just wait and see if eventually this thing pops up here. And look at that, we got a drone flying in, so we definitely did not need the drone that we crafted. All right, well, lesson learned. We got one of those, and what was it that we were even crafting anymore? I don't remember. Oh, we needed to trade for one of the assembly programs. That's what we were doing. Okay, so I am going to trade for as many as I can get, and we can shift-click, right, to increase the amount we buy. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to buy as much as we can, and apparently that is 33. So let's set that in motion. The tank should empty. Is this guy going to grab from the tank? I didn't see it the first time if that happened. Yep, that's exactly what he did. Okay, cool. So that's going to bring back all of our stuff, and then we can set in motion the other things that we need. But we also need to craft up the circuits or the framing things for these, the presses. So to do that, we are going to need the arms and stuff from Pneumaticraft. Okay, I thought we did it in the pressure chamber. That is not the case. So we are a little ways away from being able to do that still. I'm pretty sure we need a bunch of the printed circuits. Well, it's actually not that bad. We only need 4, and currently we have 2 of them crafted. We should have another one in here ready to go. So we only needed 1 more. I guess we wouldn't need any if I didn't craft up the drone, but we need 1 more of those, and then we need to turn them into the printed versions, and then we can start crafting up the arms. The recipes for those are not too bad. We got 34 of that stuff in there, and this allows us to craft I/O units, platforms, controllers, and this is controllers, I/Os, and lasers. Is this the same thing? It is not. We got a drill on the bottom and a laser on the bottom of this one. You know what? We have enough to buy 1 of all of them, so let's just go ahead and do that. I don't know if we're going to need multiples of these things, but if we look at the recipe again, over on this guy, for these things, we are going to need the drill program. Okay. So I'm guessing we just swap that out. Hopefully we don't need to make a bunch of different assembly lines. We can just use the same one and just swap the program out, hopefully. But anyways, let me go ahead and craft up 1 more of our circuit boards so we can get the assembly line up and running here. Alrighty, we are finally ready to start crafting up our assembly lines. So we're going to need a whole bunch of this stuff here. So let's get, right now we can only do 3, so sure. And with that, we can craft up these guys. That's going to give us 6, and that's not going to be enough to get everything going, but that's enough to get this going. And then we are also going to need 1 of these. We're actually going to need 2 of these, 1 import, 1 export. So let me actually go grab my my gears. Those are over in my factory. We also need a drill, which we should actually have the battery. So low voltage battery, yeah, we don't have to craft one of those. That's great. We should also have everything else pretty much. Yeah, that's all just steel and some of the wiring, which is pretty straightforward to get thrown together. So let's actually head back over to our factory because that's where everything else is going to be. All right, well, let's go ahead and craft up our secondary arm for this thing. And we also need to craft up more of these. So to do that, we are lacking on pipes. So let's get another batch of those going. That should allow us to craft up these guys now. And we're going to do 2 of these. I'm pretty sure we need 2. So let's only do that. And now let's craft up this. That should be good. This should give us the secondary arm that we needed, and then we can do the final arm, which is this guy right over here. And I actually didn't grab my scaffolding. So we do have that crafted. I just need to go grab it. And we're also lacking on more of these now. So let's get another one of those going. That's going to give us 2 more bottles. That should allow us to craft up that arm here in 2 seconds. All right, well, there's our drill core. Let's get that arm put together, and that should be the entire arm done, or the assembly line done. And then for the thing itself, we need another one of these guys, which is a hopper one. So I need 2 more circuits. I have 1 being made right now. I need 1 more to actually be able to craft up the whole thing here. So we're almost ready to start building our spaceship stuff. Alrighty, well, this is actually taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take because I already have all the arms ready to go. I have those ones. I have the extra one ready for the workbench, but it turns out I kind of missed an important step here, and that is that we need one of the assembly controllers, which is another 3 circuit boards, which isn't that bad because we already have 1 crafting, and we only need 2 more, or actually 3 more because we need 1 for the workbench itself. So I am going to be sat here for another 15, 20 minutes waiting for these things to finish because it takes 5 minutes in that thing, and then it takes a few minutes in this thing just to etch it all the way. So yeah, we're almost ready to at least get the workbench done. I honestly don't think we're going to go to the moon or complete this age today because we also need the compressed steel, which I thought, for some reason, that we can just put it through our press and get the plates or put it on the thing that we normally do and hammer it, but we can't. We need one of the compressors from Galacticraft, and that requires a Soul Forge steel anvil. That is the hardest thing that we have right now that we need to craft. The other thing we can make in the arc furnace, that's relatively easy. But this thing, we need to put stuff through a stoked crucible, which we already have. But the only thing that I can see that we can actually generate the steel from is by using a soul urn. So yeah, we're going to have to process that stuff through. It's not super difficult. It's not time consuming. We just don't have any of this stuff right now. So I need to very quickly put together a couple of urns. Since, I mean, we might as well be doing something while we're waiting for the circuits to etch. So let me go ahead and get some more of the stuff put together, at least the plastic, so I don't have to worry about this stuff. And then as we have the other stuff processing through, we can kind of start making some of the soul steel as well. So we need 6 of this, and we have enough. Okay. Cool. That is all the actually, we need one more plastic, and that's all the plastic we need. Nope, never mind. I just remembered. We need another set of the yellow or the blue and black here. So according to JEI, all we got to do is plop a clay block on top of here. It should give us a crucible as well as one block back. And then we take that, and I completely forgot already. Do I just leave it on there and it breaks it down even more? It does indeed. Okay, so this is going to turn into a planter. And then we leave it on there again, and it should turn into a vase. And then after that, it turns into the urn that we're looking for, I'm pretty sure. There we go. Okay. So now with this, we have to, I think, cook it either in the kiln or we cook it in a furnace. Cook it in the kiln. Okay. And then we can use that to collect the soul that will then allow us to make the soul steel that we're looking to get, which I don't know if these are a one-time use. That's why I have a bunch of clay on us, just in case we do need to make more of these. There we go. Nice. Okay, so let's swap this thing back out for the thing that we actually need, which is this stuff, and let's take a stack of this as well, and we should be able to just place this on the bottom. And then let's climb up on top and drop all of our netherrack in there. Actually, let's do it 8 at a time. I don't know what happens if we do more than that. I don't know if it's going to accidentally break it, but there we go. It broke the urn immediately. All right, well, we had to craft up another cauldron. It wasn't the one that we had built already, so this should process through, although it's not moving. Oh, there we go. It's moving now. Okay, cool. So in a minute here, we can see whether or not that is going to be a one-time use item. All right, nice. It's not a one-time use, so that's good. We need 7 of the Soul Forged steel to make this thing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we only need 7. So let me go ahead and put these together real quick. It's not going to take too long here. Alrighty, we are finally on the last couple crafting recipes here to craft up the NASA workbench at least. So we need to plop our purple blocks in there, a shulker shell, and an end rod. And then we also need to throw one of those in there. And that should... Why can't I put the end rod in there? I think it's actually in there. It's just bugged out. We have 2 of them in there. Let's turn this thing on and see if it actually does anything, because it's not moving, and I can't put these in there. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Okay, cool. So there's our 2 ender alloys that we needed. We can also craft up everything else. We should have everything in our inventory, unless I forgot something, which really wouldn't surprise me. But we should have the Soul Forged steel. There we go. Let's also get this thing put together, and that should be everything for the compressor. Cool. So the other thing that we needed was the assembly line thing, which at the moment we have everything else in our backpack. So let me take all that. I think we need a pipe or 2. So we'll make that if we do need it, but let's go ahead and get this thing thrown together. So we have all 3 of our printed circuits. We also should have, there we go, cool. Okay. So let's go ahead and place down our assembly line. I don't know if we need to feed this air. I'm not exactly sure how this thing runs, but for right now, let's place it there. And do we just do this? We do need to give it air. Look at that. Okay, so it's borderline at our capacity that I have set right now. And how do I give you air? Is it on the bottom? It is not on the bottom. So maybe we just have a pipe running into the side of it. That should be fine, hopefully. So we'll go ahead and place it on this side. And we got the pressure building up. Cool. We need one of these guys. And then we're going to surround it with the other arms that we have. So we can have this guy be the export. That can be the import. And then this can be whatever that thing needs to be. So we need to actually enable all of our generators, or at least one of our generators, I think, so that we can at least build up the pressure that we need to maximize on this. We should also be able to right-click on one of these and turn it into the blue one that we needed. Cool. And then we also needed the little thing that we bought from the store, which is the drill program. Okay, let me grab one of those. So all we got to do is plop that in there, and that should allow us to start producing stuff. I'm going to enable all of these, actually, so that we produce the air a little bit quicker, because we're still not quite there. And we're not going to be in any danger. We're just going to bleed off the extra air there. It's not really a concern. We should also be able to make the unassembled ones in here too now, if we swap that out to a laser. So let's actually give that a try first, because we do have an extra one of these that we need. Or it's not an extra one because we need it, but we can take that and plop it in here. Hopefully it's going to be quicker than the UV box, because that thing is kind of slow. So we have the laser in there right now. This is the output, I believe. Do I have an extra chest on me? I do not. So you know what? For right now, we can do one of those. Plop that there. And are you going to pull in? You are not, because the thing, not all machines for the insider program are present. One assembly, one laser. Oh, that's why. Okay, so we have a drill. We don't have the laser, so we can't actually do the assembly thing like I thought. Oh, it turns out we actually need the laser regardless. So we need to craft up another one of these guys, which is going to be this one right here. And that is another printed circuit. Oh, come on. Okay. Well, if we can get this thing crafted, then we at least have hopefully a faster way of generating these things. So we need to process this thing through. We need yet another circuit board here in a second once that one's done, so we can actually craft this thing. But we should have everything else for this. It's relatively cheap. So let me go ahead and get a laser one put together. This isn't a laser, right? No. Dang it. Okay. Yep, we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, well, I'm just waiting for that final circuit board to finish etching. So while we wait, let's go ahead and make our steel. So we need a couple of these. We only need 4 plates. So let's do that. And is this not going to run off of coal coke? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So let me go. Oh, actually, hold on. That's the wrong. That's actually steel. This is compressed. Oops, that's why that's not working. Okay, let's do that. And what are we getting? 1 plate per thing? We're getting 2 plates. Okay, so that's all we got to process through. We don't need any more than that. Well, finally, we've got our laser put together here. So now this should be fine. It shouldn't have anything missing. It shouldn't say there's any issues other than that we're missing a little bit of air, unfortunately. So let's break this. Get all those turned back on. We're going to be bleeding off air here in a second. But now, with our drill in there, we should hopefully be able to create this guy, right? The drill, yeah, we need to put a block of biotite in here. So, do I just do this? Nope, that is not how we do that. Okay, give me that back, please. Okay, and if we plop it in there, is this guy going to grab it? It is not. Is it the blue one that we need to put it into? There we go. Okay. So it's very, very slow, but eventually it is going to wiggle its way on over, and it's going to start cutting it into the thing that we actually need. And that was actually really, really quick. So is this guy going to grab it? It is indeed. Cool. So we also need 2 more of these things. We need one for the diamond circuit, which we can't even use diamonds yet. Oh, we have to use the heavy plate for this. No. Okay. That stinks, but we need this guy, which is a purple block with the drill, which is the same thing that we have in there already. Okay, so let's plop that in there, and then for the gold one, We also need another new one, which is also on the drill program. So we can just plop this in there. It is a pearl block, which luckily enough, we had 10 of the shulker pearls. So if we didn't have that, we would have had to make a trip on over to the end. And I really didn't feel like making a trip on over to the end today. So that is fantastic for us that we actually had that. So right now, once this is done, I'm going to change out the program and see if it makes the PCB faster than that little light box over there. Oh yeah, this is definitely a lot faster than that UV box. We can add speed upgrades to this thing as well, so the arms move around a little bit quicker. So once we do that, then things are going to be really whipping around here. But there we go. We got our last thing that we needed, the PCB. So all we have left to do is to put together our NASA workbench. So we also have to craft up these circuits that I completely just spaced on, but we made the little things for them. So what I'm going to actually try and do is use a diamond, because we do have a couple loose ones and we only need one. So we can have it in our inventory. We just can't have it in our hotbar. So I'm hoping that by opening the machine, we're able to shift click the thing in there. So that's all we need for that. We need a gold for this one. So give me, whoa, we got gold in our inventory. Cool. So now comes the fun part of trying to remember where I placed or where that thing is, because we made the press thing last episode. I just don't remember where I left it. Oh, never mind, found it. Okay, cool. So this is also going to need some power. We need to head back to our factory, because that's the only place with current power. And hopefully this actually runs and works, but I don't see any power in there. That's not a good sign. Let's do this and that. And, oh, yep, it's working. Cool. All right, moment of truth here. Hopefully it lets us use that diamond. It is going to let us use it. That is awesome. That saves us having to craft up whatever that other item was that it wanted. And all we got to do next is plop everything into our ender crafting table, which we actually need that thing, which we have one crafted already. I don't remember why we needed it, but we don't use it for anything. So I'm just going to use it for this recipe. If we do end up needing another one, we can just craft one. It's a relatively simple recipe, so that's going to start. We have the little thing sucking in ender air, I guess, and then it's going to process through the recipe. So in a minute, we should have our NASA workbench, and there we go. Nice. Let's take that out. It should, nope, never mind. I thought it was going to auto-complete the advancement, but it did not. So let's plop it down, and it still didn't complete our advancement. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign. Maybe it's going to complete our advancement once we build a rocket, but we're not going to be doing that today. We are unfortunately out of time for today's episode. So next episode, fingers crossed, unless we get into some weird crafting loop again like we did today, because I didn't expect it to take that long. But today we got our NASA workbench up and running. Next episode, we should be able to go to the moon. But for today, that is going to be it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed as always, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.